Now, in this lecture, we will talk about categorical encoding, and the way that I want to introduce categorical encoding is by talking about a man named Alan Turing. Now, Alan Turing was a famous English scientist who specialized in cryptography. One of the things that Turing was most famous for was figuring out a way to decipher messages that were created on this machine called the Enigma. Now, the Enigma was created by the Germans, and essentially it sent secret, ciphered messages between two different parties. Now, Turing was a brilliant mathematician who figured out a way to decipher these messages. Not only was he famous for this, but also what we know as the Turing machine. Now, the Turing machine is not a physical device, but rather an abstract conceptual machine that encodes any set of rules or algorithms. Now, this conceptual machine for the Turing machine is made up of two parts. It's made up of a read-write head and a tape that's divided into cells. Now, what a person could do is define a set of explicit instructions, and then using these instructions, the machine would read or write the encoded values on the tape. Now, the head was able to move left and write in a continuous process. After the instructions were completed, what was left on the tape was considered the answer for the problem, and it was encoded in ones and zeros. Now, using this conceptual theory, what he did is prove that any algorithm or computer operation can be defined with a virtual tape encodings into ones and zeros. This idea was such a simple process, and it had a huge impact on mathematics and describing algorithms and computer science, and that's why we think of Alan Turing as one of the founding fathers of computer science and artificial intelligence. If you study the history of artificial intelligence and machine learning, you will hear Turing's name come up throughout. So, anyways, I just wanted to introduce who Alan Turing was and the idea of encoding values into numbers. So, what is categorical and coding in this sense of data preparation? Well, a lot of times computers are better at reading numbers rather than categories or text data. Now, there are several algorithms that require you to change text values into numeric values, but some other algorithms don't require this. It just depends on the algorithm you choose and the problem at hand. Now, we will talk more about choosing an algorithm and which one fits better for your problem at hand. But for now, I just want to introduce the idea of categorical encoding and how to apply it to your dataset. Now, as we go through this lecture and the following lectures and chapters, we will talk about categorical variables and categorical features and discrete features. And just know that all of these mean the same thing. These are just values within our dataset that are broken up into groups or broken up into different categories. So at a high level, let's take a look at when is it a good time to encode. Well, let's say our problem is we are predicting the price of a home. Well, we will find out later that a good algorithm to start with is linear regression. Now, the math behind linear regression requires the input values to be in numeric format. So, we will need to encode. Now, the next problem we will look at is determining whether given text is about sports or not. Well, a good algorithm to start with is naive Bayes, and encoding is not necessary for naive Bayes. It can actually handle text-based values. Now, the last problem that we will look at is detecting malignancy in radiology images. Essentially, looking at images of the human body and determining whether masses are malignant or benign. And the algorithm that we could use is a convolutional neural network, and in this case, encoding is necessary, and this is because the way that neural network processes the input data, it needs to be in a number format. Remember, that the algorithm that you decide to choose really depends on the problem at hand, and once we choose our algorithm, we will then be able to determine whether or not we need to encode our categorical variables. So depending on the problem at hand, if you choose an algorithm that requires categorical encoding, I'll show you the steps that you can take to make sure that you are able to encode your categorical variables. Now, don't get too caught up on knowing which algorithm to choose just yet. We will cover that in depth in a later chapter. We can just assume that all of our categorical variables need to be encoded in this chapter. Let's take a look at few varieties of categorical variables that we could possibly have in our datasets. The first example is color green, purple, and blue. Now these are just three different categories. We can think about this as being multi-categorical. Now the second example is evil, which it's true or false, and we can think about this as being a binary categorical variable, right? It's either 1 or 0, yes or no, true or false. Now the last example actually has to do with order, right? Large is greater than medium, which is greater than small. So we can see the images of these birds, and these are the different categories for these birds: large, medium or small. Now there is a difference between the first two examples in the last example, in the sense that the last example is ordinal and the first example is what we call nominal. Now these terms will come up throughout the machine learning and mathematics in general, but nominal just means the order does not matter, and ordinal means that the order does matter. Now, classifying your categorical variables as nominal or ordinal is important because it will actually determine the way that you need to encode your values. But know that all categorical values are discrete, right? There is only a select few that our categories could fall into. These values are not continuous or quantitative, right? These values don't fall on a number line somewhere like continuous values. You could think about separating these into different discrete groups. Let's take a look at an example dataset and see categorical and coding in action. Now here is a simple dataset with some information about a home and whether a bank approved the loan or not. Now the problem at hand is, will a home loan be approved? Now can have information like the type of home it was, how many bedrooms, how big the home was, whether it had a pool or what size the pool was, the price of the home, and then our target attribute, which is whether the loan was approved or not. So the first thing that we notice is that attributes like area and price are continuous values. So we won't have to worry about encoding these right now. We will go ahead and leave them alone. Now the next feature that we will take a look at is the loan approved feature, which is our target attribute, and we will want to encode the line in 4 eyes and no to 0 and 1. We will apply simple binary encoding to our target attribute. So to do this, we could just apply a simple mapping of n is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. Apply the transformation and then our data has changed. So if we take a look at our data set, anytime that we had an n, we change it to a 0, and anytime that we had a y, we change it to a 1. Now the next attribute we are going to look at is the pool size. Now since we understand our data set, we know that L stands for large, M stands for medium, S stands for small, and N stands for 9, meaning they don't have a pool at this home. Now we talked about ordinal values earlier, and since the order does matter, we need to take that in account when we decide to encode these values. So how can we do this? Well, we could just define a map that looks something like this. Now, the values that you choose for small, large and medium really just depend on how your algorithm is tuned. changing these values can produce different results. So you may need to play and tweak them so you get the desired output. Finally, let's take a look at the home type, and we can see that we have a couple of different home types: condo, house, and apartment. Now, if we follow the same mapping rules, it would look like something like this. We could just map condo to one, house to two, an apartment to three, but what our algorithm might determine from that is that condo is less than house, which is less than an apartment. Now, this doesn't really make sense, right? These are nominal values where order doesn't matter. So our machine learning algorithm may interpret these incorrectly. So encoding nominal variables into integers like I described here is a bad idea. So what are our options? Well, this is where we can use a technique called one-hot encoding. And essentially all one-hot encoding is adding new features for each one of the categories and assigning a 0 if the observation doesn't include that category, and then assigning a 1 if the observation does include that category. So if we take a look at what this would look like within our dataset, we can see here that for each one of the different categories, we have created a new column or a new feature with the name of that category. So for each observation that includes condo, the type underscore condo feature or attribute has a 1, and the same for house and the same for apartment. Using this technique is a good way to map nominal variables, but sometimes could lead to problems if there are many variables. Well, the question is, should we one hot or not? If there are many categories, there will be a feature created for each one of those categories, and it can exponentially grow your dataset. This may not be the desired result. It may grow so large that you are not even able to analyze it. Now, if we do have many categories, we could use different techniques like grouping to create fewer overall categories before we encode them. And another approach is to map rare values or categories that don't happen very often. This will help reduce the overall numbers of new columns created. So remember, it's about understanding your dataset before we apply these different techniques. So in summary, categorical encoding really just depends on the algorithm that you choose, and essentially all we are doing is turning text into numbers. There is really no golden rule on how to encode your categories or transform your data in general. The data preparation process is about finding the feature that solves the problem at hand and transforming them so they are able to be used within a machine learning algorithm. And just remember that there are many different approaches that you can take when transforming your category data. So that's it for categorical encoding. So make sure you remember things like ordinal, nominal, how to map values, and the technique of one hot encoding. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment section and I'll try to answer it. If not, let's move on to the next chapter.